God says, the $109 trillion decree is active. Receive before the gates close. Prayer for money. Pause right here and breathe, because what's coming to you in this moment isn't coincidence, it's divine timing. You might think this is just another passing message on your screen, but God says, be still and know that I am God. This is not noise, this is a calling. Heaven is aligning something that has your name written all over it. The vault of $108.7 trillion wealth code has been activated. And this message is the key being handed to you. Not everyone will feel it, but those who stay open, who allow their hearts to listen rather than their doubts to speak, will receive it. This is not about effort, it's about attention, about recognizing that divine calibration is taking place in your favor right now. You are being enrolled into what I call divine arithmetic, where gratitude multiplies faster than logic, and faith rewrites the timeline of your life. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. In this kingdom, the hustle you were taught to glorify is no longer the path. Stillness is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's in the quiet that you can finally hear God whisper the instructions your busy mind has been too loud to catch. This is where every prayer for money becomes not a desperate plea, but a confident acknowledgement of divine provision already set in motion. Listen carefully now, because every delay, every door that closed, every plan that crumbled was never punishment, it was preparation. You didn't lose time, you invested it. Gratitude was your currency, and patience became your profit. When you lifted your financial prayer even through tears, heaven recorded it as faith. When you thanked God before seeing results, that gratitude became the architecture of your next breakthrough. You thought silence meant absence, but it was actually God rearranging timelines, aligning opportunities, and compounding blessings behind the scenes. Just like in Psalm 37:7, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. You've been in incubation, not isolation. The wait was not wasted, it was working for you. Before the day ends, signs will begin to trace themselves across your path, small, precise, and personal. You might see a number repeat, a familiar phrase echo, or a deep calm fill your chest when fear has reason to rise. These aren't coincidences, they are handshakes from heaven, affirmations that your prayer for money miracle has been received and is now unfolding in divine sequence. When you notice one, say softly, I see it. That simple acknowledgement signs the delivery slip for your miracle. Remember the words of Jesus, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives. This peace you feel is the evidence of something greater forming beyond your sight. Now, if part of you is doubting this, if a small voice says, this can't be real, you can choose to scroll away. Heaven does not force what the heart refuses. But those who stay, who believe even silently, will witness a quiet triumph. The miracle will not shout, it will breathe. Its proof will not come in noise, but in peace that doesn't make sense, in relief that feels undeserved, in provision that seems impossible. That's how divine mathematics works. Faith plus gratitude equals supernatural increase. God has seen your small consistencies, the unnoticed prayers, the small choices to love instead of resent, to give when you could have withheld. Every act of faith became a digital coordinate in His system. Nothing vanished, it just matured. What you called delay, heaven called development. You weren't being denied, you were being designed. And now, child of purpose. It's time to reverse the order the world taught you. Don't wait to feel blessed before you speak like one. Speak first. The world calls it delusion, but heaven calls it design. Speak abundance before you see it. Speak healing before you feel it. Speak prosperity while you're still in the valley, because gratitude is not reaction, it's creation. Every thank you before the evidence appears deposits value into a future waiting for your authorization. Say it now, Lord. I thank you for overflow. I thank you for provision. I thank you for answered prayer. This is how your financial prayer turns from words into manifestation. You are not chasing blessings anymore. You're attracting them through awareness, faith, and thanksgiving. The code is simple, yet sacred gratitude activates grace. In a world obsessed with hustle, you are being taught the divine art of trust. You no longer need to run after what is already yours. You are the magnet. You are the field. You are the vessel. God's timing is not late, it's layered. Every challenge was a calibration, aligning you closer to the frequency of abundance that heaven has already prepared for you. So when you pray today, don't ask from lack, speak from fullness. Say your prayer for money miracle, not as someone begging, but as someone confirming what's already written in your favor. Remember, the wealth of heaven doesn't only appear as numbers in a bank. It shows up as peace in your spirit, clarity in your mind, and doors that open without you forcing them. Your purpose is being funded by divine intelligence. Stay alert, stay grateful, and most importantly, stay still enough to receive, because what's unfolding for you now, this very hour, is not coincidence. It is divine arithmetic, where faith plus gratitude equals the manifestation of your wealth, your healing, and your joy. This, beloved, is your moment. God has seen your endurance. Heaven has recorded your faith. The vault has been opened. The current is moving, and your recognition is the final key. Whisper it once more, I see it. And as you do, may every hidden blessing that was waiting for your awareness begin to trace itself into your life. The miracle has already begun. Quiet, steady, and unstoppable. Receive it before it expires. Look around you after this moment. Really look. People, opportunities, and ideas will begin to shift quietly around you, aligning with your new frequency. It might feel subtle at first, a call, a message, a thought that won't leave your mind, but that's how heaven signals. Gratitude is your magnet, your invisible attractor. It doesn't pull at random, it recalls what already belongs to you. When you whisper, "Thank you, Lord, I receive what has matured," unseen systems start to update. God begins moving what was once delayed right into your hands. Expect proof that's too specific to ignore. Because the moment you choose gratitude, you tune your spirit to receive what was already yours. Don't compare your journey. Don't complain. Comparison limits expansion, but gratitude multiplies it. What God is doing in you right now requires privacy before visibility. Let others rush for the spotlight. You are being positioned for longevity, for a wealth that survives seasons. God is not building flashes of success. He's building foundations that last. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall only go up and not down. That's not a promise for tomorrow. It's a decree that's already been written into your timeline. So breathe, believe, between now and 8 o'clock tonight. Stay alert for a signal, a gentle one. It could be small, sacred, but unmistakable. When it comes, pause. Whisper gratitude. Let peace do what striving never could. What you're feeling right now is not coincidence. It's confirmation. The decree has already been processed. Heaven's transaction is in motion. Activation doesn't require effort. It requires awareness. Think of faith like breathing. You don't see it, but it sustains everything you do. Every time you say thank you, You pull the unseen closer until it becomes visible and undeniable. You don't need to make the blessing happen. You just need to recognize it when it arrives. Heaven responds to acknowledgement, not anxiety. The world says, "Show me and I'll believe." But God says, "Believe and I'll show you." That's the divine reversal. Faith activates what doubt delays. So as you stand here, maybe even reading this with trembling hands, the flow of that 109 trillion is already syncing with your obedience. The signal is subtle. It doesn't come with noise. It comes with knowing. Maybe you're being asked to forgive that one name that still burns in your memory. Maybe you're being led to bless someone who could never pay you back. Or to finally release that complaint you've rehearsed too many times. Every act of kindness reactivates a circuit in heaven's economy. When your spirit obeys without proof, the vault releases without resistance. This is the true attract money code. Faith through action. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's your money prayer in motion. Some people will not understand this message. It will stir them, make them uncomfortable, and they'll scroll away, thinking it's just emotion. Let them. Not everyone is ready to receive what heaven is currently distributing. Only a few stay long enough to witness manifestation. And it's those few, the ones who stay, that inherit what the many forfeited. Miracles are quiet because faith has good hearing. Those who wait for loud signs will miss the whisper that changes everything. That whisper could be happening right now. God often activates in ordinary hours. A conversation, an unexpected email, a sudden refund, a random text aligning perfectly with a prayer you forgot you prayed. When that happens, don't question it. Acknowledge it. Say softly, "I see the sign." Recognition completes delivery. Heaven requires your awareness to finish the transfer. Gratitude is your key, but it's also your navigation. Thankfulness is not just emotion. It's GPS. It tells you where to turn, what to let go, who to call, and when to wait. A grateful heart never gets lost, because it's always guided by divine direction. Even delays turn into detours toward faster blessings. Remember the promise, all things work together for good to those who love God. If you're feeling pressure right now, don't misread it. Pressure is proof of progress. The enemy always presses hardest when release is closest. Stay grounded in peace, because pressure cannot penetrate gratitude. Gratitude transforms external tension into internal stability. That's why storms calm around thankful hearts. Keep your words clean. Speak faith, not fear. Every word you speak programs the atmosphere around you. Your words are codes. Heaven reads tone as much as text. Speak as someone who already knows the transfer is processing. Authority doesn't shout, it stands firm. And here's a story I want to share with you, a real one. There was a woman who once prayed for finances, desperate for a breakthrough. She had lost her job, her savings, and even her sense of purpose. But every night, instead of complaining, she thanked God for what she still had. A roof, her children, her health. One evening, she got a call from a friend she hadn't spoken to in years. That friend had been led by God to give her a financial gift, enough to cover her rent for 6 months and start a small business. That call came exactly at 8 o'clock. Coincidence? No. That was activation in motion. Gratitude opened a vault that prayer had prepared. And that same code is working for you right now. So, as you read this, let these words enter your spirit. Don't rush through them. Feel the truth of it. Let the words "thank you" roll off your tongue like currency. Every thank you is a deposit of faith. Every act of obedience is an investment in your divine timeline. Heaven's economy doesn't work like Earth's. It doesn't respond to panic. It responds to peace. Your prayer for finances is not just asking for money, it's aligning your heart with provision. You're not trying to attract money through greed, you're aligning with purpose. Because when purpose meets faith, provision follows naturally. Before this night ends, something will align, a message, a moment of clarity, a release of forgiveness, or even a quiet peace you can't explain. That's heaven's signature, quiet precision. Receive it without shouting. Let peace be your celebration. Jesus said, "My peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you." That peace is your proof that the process is working. Now I want to ask you, what are you willing to let go of so you can make room for what's already yours? What complaint can you release tonight? Who can you bless even when they don't deserve it? These questions aren't challenges, they're doorways. Every small act of faith opens a gate in the unseen realm. The vault doesn't open by noise, it opens by alignment. So tonight, don't strive, just breathe, be aware, say thank you again. Let your gratitude speak louder than your fear. You don't need to force it, just recognize it when it shows up. Because your breakthrough isn't coming someday, it's unfolding now. And here's the message you need to carry as the night closes. Your worth is not measured by what you have, but by who you trust. The one who promised abundance hasn't forgotten you. You are not behind, you are right on time. The prayer for financial breakthrough you've been repeating hasn't gone unheard. It's been processing, refining, aligning. Keep your faith steady, your gratitude loud, and your heart open. The wealth code has already been activated. The release has already begun. So breathe, believe, and receive, because the vault is open. As you welcome that peace, small faithful choices begin producing great results. A kind of acceleration that feels like grace on the move. You realize you're being rewired to recognize favor faster than ever. Consider this by the time the clock leans toward 8 in the evening. Will you have recorded even one small sign that the atmosphere around you has shifted? Will you pause to notice, to write it down, to thank God for the evidence? That simple practice multiplies goodness overnight, because gratitude is not just emotion, it's spiritual infrastructure. You move from fight to flow, from pending to posting, from someday to starting now, and the system you hoped was theoretical proves itself to be live in your life. As that current runs through every layer of your days, you feel the next realm awaken, the one where your inner renewal starts rewriting your outer reality. What if the pulse you felt earlier wasn't a passing mood, but the ground of old limits shifting beneath your feet? Activation was ignition, and expansion is acceleration. And here's the beautiful part. Obedience becomes overflow. Your honest yes starts to carry its own momentum. Hear this ancient promise: the Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give rain to your land in its season. Let yourself recognize that the season is not distant. It is opening now. You've walked by faith long enough to stop chasing signs, because in this new rhythm, signs begin to chase you. Does that possibility stir courage in you? In my view, this is how the kingdom scales in a human heart. Gratitude turns into gravity, drawing right place, right time opportunities from every direction. What used to slip through your fingers now gently stays, and what once exhausted you now responds with ease. That ease is not laziness, it's alignment, like stepping into a river that already knew your name. If your rhythm can match the river, can you imagine how much steadier your steps will feel? You'll notice how spaces that used to stay closed begin opening at your presence. Not because you forced them, but because peace arrived first and introduced you. Expansion moves on sound waves. Thanksgiving spoken in faith creates subtle vibrations that unlock what logic cannot. Whispered gratitude travels farther than shouted desperation, and the law of attraction, purified by gratitude, helps you welcome what truly serves your calling. How might your words today become tuning forks for favor? You're learning the language of light, and heaven answers fluently. Watch for widening horizons. Relationships can reconcile, ideas can link up with ready hands, and timing can align with preparation as if they've always belonged together. Remember the second promise. Ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. Consider how your prayer for financial miracle, when asked with trust and followed by wise steps, invites support you couldn't have orchestrated. From where I stand, fullness is not just volume, it's value. The more thankful you are, the more your world becomes luminous with meaning, so that even small blessings feel royal and ordinary moments glimmer with possibility. Do you feel any fear about growth? If you do, call the stretch sacred, because true expansion does not crush. True expansion strengthens, shaping capacity so you can carry what is arriving. Quietly, you are being upgraded. Skills you set aside begin to revive. Confidence you buried starts to breathe again. And people around you will sense a glow, as if you merely slept better, not knowing it's revelation radiating through you. Stay watchful, because expansion brings both invitations and distractions. Can you tell the difference? Gratitude will help you discern it every time. Opportunities born of grace feel light and peaceful, while those born of pressure feel heavy and urgent. Choose lightness, because that is God's signature on your steps. When God expands someone, He doesn't drown them in options. He teaches them to flow in discernment, to listen for the small bell of peace, and follow it through the hallway of choices. As you listen, keep returning to what you most desire to create with your life. How do you want to serve? Who do you want to bless? What would it mean for you to handle money as a tool for mercy and not a measure of worth in this tender space? Your prayer for financial miracle becomes a humble daily practice. You ask, you move, you learn, you give, you align, and the law of attraction echoes what your spirit already knows, that focused gratitude attracts matching outcomes. So speak blessing over your work. Write one line in your journal acknowledging what worked today, and take one small step that proves your faith. Could that step be an overdue conversation, a refined budget, a generous gift, or a bold application? Repeat your intention with warmth. I am guided. I am provided for. I welcome wise wealth. Say it until your nervous system believes it. As you do, you'll mention money without flinching, twice today. Let it be in the context of mission and stewardship, and you'll notice how money begins to circulate with more purpose. Keep your heart soft, your gratitude steady, and your actions consistent. Your prayer for financial miracle isn't a one-time plea. It's the daily language of trust. The law of attraction isn't a shortcut. It's a mirror that reflects the faith, clarity, and generosity you practice. If you keep listening and moving, you'll find that God meets you on the path, and the path keeps widening. When your hand gives, His hand refills. When your mouth blesses, His mouth multiplies. Freely you have received, freely give. That is not just scripture, it's a divine economic principle. The more you give with a pure heart, the more the spiritual flow increases around you. Even now, as you listen, heaven is arranging affirmations around your life. Before 8 o'clock tonight, you will see evidence, maybe in an unexpected kindness, a message of encouragement, or a situation that suddenly turns in your favor. Those are not accidents, they are activations. Each moment whispers, contract active. And when it happens, pause, take a breath, and whisper, thank you. That moment of gratitude renews every clause of your heavenly agreement. Stop worrying about who imitates you or competes with you. Focus instead on your intention. Authenticity never fades, while imitation burns out. If your motives stay pure, God will even use your enemies as tools for your destiny. Imagine that. People trying to hinder you end up paving the very roads that lead to your success. Isn't that divine irony? They will build paths they cannot walk, just so your purpose arrives right on time. But remember, this covenant requires consistency, not perfection. You'll make mistakes, everyone does, but grace is the clause that covers them. What matters is not how quickly you stumble, but how quickly you return. Be quick to repent, quicker to express gratitude. Don't dwell on failures, document the lessons they carry. The mature soul thanks God even for correction, knowing it's preparation for promotion. Look around you, expansion is visible, but covenant is invisible architecture. It's the structure that holds your success upright. Without covenant, abundance becomes an accident. With covenant, abundance becomes your assignment. Your assignment is generosity. Your language is gratitude. Your authority is peace. Rule from that posture, and your river of provision will never run dry. Between now and nightfall, pay attention. God might speak through something ordinary, a sentence overheard, a sudden memory, a spark of an idea. Don't dismiss it. Act on it, and you'll find the next step already funded by divine provision. Faith isn't negotiation. It's participation. God doesn't need to be convinced. He needs cooperation. And you, beloved, are already cooperating through your gratitude, your calm, your kindness. That calm you feel lately, that's covenant climate. That's heaven's atmosphere surrounding your life. So breathe deeply. You are no longer guessing at favor. You are governing it. What you carry now is sacred equity. Spiritual capital recognized both in heaven and on earth. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. That completion is covenant. So open your hands, open your heart, and realize that the air around you has changed. The divine system is already at work. You don't have to strain to make it happen. You just need to stay sensitive enough to notice that it is happening. Manifestation is not magic. It's movement made visible. The systems that once seemed silent are now responding to your gratitude. The transactions that once felt lost are reopening under better terms. The opportunities that once slipped away are circling back, refined and ready. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You are standing inside that evidence right now. Remember this truth. The miracle rarely looks miraculous at first. It often comes disguised as perfect timing, as peaceful understanding, as impossible calm. Have you felt that quiet assurance lately? That peace that doesn't need anyone's approval? That's how heaven moves. Its proof is peace. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Look again at your day, beloved. Notice how doors that once groaned to open now glide effortlessly. Notice how people who had forgotten your name suddenly remember. Notice how situations that seemed scattered begin falling into divine order. These are not coincidences. They are coordinates on a map heaven wrote long before your doubt began. Don't rush to announce what's forming in your life. Let it settle. The loudest miracles are the ones nurtured in silence. Gratitude protects manifestation from premature exposure. Whisper thank you, and let the roots grow deep before the branches appear. That is how lasting wealth and purpose take shape, unseen at first, but unstoppable in time. The $108.7 trillion wealth code. That divine phrase echoing through your spirit isn't fantasy. It's faith turned into form. Every thank you you've ever whispered has become architecture. Those structures are now assembling around your life opportunities, connections, reconciliations, recoveries. You will see proof before 8 o'clock. Small, specific, undeniable. When it happens, don't say finally. Say, I knew you would. That phrase seals fulfillment, because manifestation is not just about visible money, it's about visible meaning. It's about confidence restored, clarity recovered, and joy returned. That is the real prayer for financial miracle, not begging for wealth, but becoming the vessel through which divine abundance flows. So ask yourself now, are you ready to let go of fear and live as proof of God's promise? Are you ready to allow the law of attraction to partner with divine intention? Remember, money is not the master, it's the messenger. It arrives when gratitude calls it, stays when purpose anchors it, and multiplies when generosity releases it. So, my dear listener, walk gently but confidently. The air around you is charged with possibility. Heaven's instruction is unfolding even as you listen. Don't wait for permission. You already have it. Don't seek signs. You are the sign. The covenant is active. The system is alive. The wealth is already in motion. Just stay grateful, stay generous, and stay grounded in peace. Because when you do, heaven recognizes your name, and all of creation conspires to make your purpose prosper. Some people will see your calm and call it indifference. But let them. Those who truly understand silence will sense that something sacred is unfolding in you, and they will feel it the way you feel a soft breeze before sunrise. This very moment is proof that the covenant has become creation, and the code has already been written into your life. Everything around you is being reprogrammed to serve what I promised. So be watchful, but not worried, because expectation is not tension, it is trust. And every minute of panic slows the flow, while every second of gratitude accelerates it. Therefore, your job is simple and strong. Keep your atmosphere grateful in the kitchen, in the car, in the meeting, in the checkout line. And when fear whispers through headlines or bank balances, answer softly and steadily. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Chua selam tron moi viexngai janjin cho kontitien 138:8. That sentence resets your system like a clean reboot after a long day. Before this night concludes, confirmation will come, maybe as a message that says approved, maybe as an inner knowing that settles like warm light, maybe as a small phrase looping in your mind the way a melody lingers after a good song. And when it comes, don't overanalyze it, recognize it, because recognition finalizes manifestation and gratitude enlarges it. Child, you are living the transition from prayer to proof, walking the bridge between hope and having. Doing it gracefully, you no longer chase, you attract. You no longer strive, you synchronize. Heaven calls that mastery and calls you into it tonight. So hold still for a breath and feel the ground beneath your feet or the mattress beneath your back. The pulse you sense is your reality recalibrating, every number, every word, every promise aligning under my authority. Nothing will return void. The ledger reads fulfilled. And that is why you feel that quiet heaviness of completion wrapped in peace. Beloved, feel the weight lifting off your shoulders as the flow that began like a whisper now hums through your entire life. Calm, confident, and continuous. Overflow is not a flood that destroys, but a river that distributes. And like any good river, it knows where to go, whom to touch, and how to return without loss. You're no longer merely a recipient, you are a conduit. My cup runs over Psalm 23:5. What you once treated as isolated blessings, you now recognize as living systems. Gratitude activates them, generosity sustains them, and your small faithful actions are the switches that keep the current alive. When you hold back, the water slows, but when you give freely, the motion multiplies. You have heard it, freely you have received. Freely give, Matthew 10:8. The faster you share, the quicker I refill. You'll see it in modern moments. Others miss the text of encouragement you send that heals another and later opens a door for you. The quiet act of kindness that turns into favor. The moment you forgive and feel your own wealth return as peace. This is the currency of heaven's cycles of giving and grace. The decree others call 109 trillion or 108.7 trillion. Jat 10, the Naukung Juak, is not sitting behind vaults, but moving through acts of faith disguised as ordinary days like yours. You don't have to announce it, because overflow testifies on its own. People will feel better around you and won't know why, sensing that something invisible near you carries provision. You won't need to prove prosperity, because your peace will reveal it. What used to overwhelm you will now organize itself under your calm. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. Deuteronomy 28:13. Stay alert for overflow tests, humility, because overflow tempts the proud to take credit. But you have learned the secret gratitude guards glory. You know you are not the source. You are the system. The moment you say thank you, the river recenters, which is why I keep pouring. I trust your hands to share without fear. Before the evening's light fades, you will notice a sign of surplus, something small multiplying an unexpected extra hour, a discount you didn't seek, renewed energy to finish what matters. When you notice it, do not ask why me. Say, thank you for trusting me. Gratitude keeps the circuit open, and the more you honor the gift, the longer it lingers. Overflow isn't only financial, it is emotional, creative, and spiritual. Expect ideas to arrive in clusters like birds lifting from a tree. Relationships to renew with ease. Joy returning like muscle memory. Even your voice will shift, steadier, warmer, rich with assurance, because overflow changes tone before it changes totals. Remember, I never pour more than you can carry. Each new measure comes with wisdom to manage it. Steward the expansion like a garden, prune distractions. Water discipline, harvest in peace. Abundance is safest in grateful hands. Listen, overflow doesn't stop when you sleep. While you rest, I keep the flow active. New alignments form in your absence. Doors unlock without your knock. Connections prepare themselves to meet you. You'll wake to find that grace worked the night shift. When you give again, time, energy, kindness, the river deepens, and the people you bless carry that same current to others. Soon, you'll see echoes of your faith multiplying everywhere. This is how heaven's scales increase through hearts that refuse to close. Stay open, stay kind, speak softly. Let generosity be your reputation and gratitude your signature. What began as a decree is now a culture surrounding you, a climate that breathes around your home and your work. Beloved, lift your head, because the season of merely surviving blessings has ended. You are stepping into stewardship, not a throne of pride, but a seat of peace. The true crown is invisible, yet every atmosphere recognizes it. The quiet assurance that what you carry no longer controls you. You manage it with calm, gratitude, and grace. You will be the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. Coronation isn't ceremony, it is consciousness.